Morning, everyone. We'll just give it a minute or two. There's still quite a few people to join. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on mortgage e-filing. My name is Peter Booth. I'm the General Manager of Business Relationships, basically means account manager. So if you need anything, please do get in touch. My email is on the screen now. We're going to be running through our e-filing mortgage service, as we've had quite a lot of requests with assistance over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to run through that. We do plan to have a few other webinars with various topics such as Companies House, filings, company formations, insolvency searches and questions. So look out for those, and obviously if interested, then please do join us for those webinars. Also, if there's any topics or products that you want us to look into or develop, then please do just let us know as well. All our services, as I'm sure you know, are pay-as-you-go. So I'm sure a lot of law firms will be looking at subscriptions and lowering costs. So if we can offer a service that is currently only in a subscription model, then we'll definitely see what we can do with maybe offering a similar service on a pay-as-you-go basis. So today, mortgage e-filing. So just to put a point out there, so just to let you know, we will send you regular updates that we receive from Companies House. I know Companies House are sending updates as well, but we tend to get the information maybe before they would send it themselves. So Companies House, there's still you can still submit paper forms to Companies House, but obviously there may be delays. I'm sure their staff numbers are lower, so the actual processing time will increase. So they're urging people to, if possible, to file any documents electronically where possible, and they are looking into creating services that are currently not possible to file electronically. They're looking at setting up those as soon as possible, and obviously arranging payments, etc. We can also still file hard copy documents for you as well. So if that's something that you require, then please do just get in touch. So moving on to today's webinar. So e-filing, mortgage e-filings. So this service came about basically with the benefit of well, many benefits of peer review. Basically, this service can be set up so that certain people with like say trainees or less experienced people can fill in a mortgage document, but can't actually file it at Companies House until it's been reviewed by a supervisor or checked by someone who will then authorize it, and then the trainee or associate or whatnot can then file the document at Companies House. So basically, it's all about reducing risk. There's also other benefits, which I'll run through in a few minutes. So for this service to us, the individuals tend to get set up with their own personal e-filing logon details. Now, this is, I'm just going to show you this one service. Your site may look different, but basically you log on as normal, and then you get the choices of the different mortgage forms there. So you have the electronic ones and you also have the paper ones. So you can actually do both. Obviously, the electronic ones you file electronically, and the paper ones you would print out and then send in the post. So to set up to order a first mortgage, simply press the link. Here you'll be asked to set up or select a supervisor. This is purely if you're set up with peer review, so that supervisor can then authorize the mortgage. And then we can type in your reference, which is basically for accounts and filing there, and click proceed. So then it takes you through to a familiar form here. So this is the mortgage fund, the MRO1. And it's simply a case of filling in the details. You can add the company number. You can check to see if there's existing charges, and you can also check the company to make sure that the company is the company number is exactly the company name, and then you can add that to the form here. Once you've added a date, the system will remind you of how long you've got left to file it. And the first benefit of this software is basically you can now save this form. So if for whatever reason you get called into another meeting or whatnot, you can simply save the form and then come back to it later on. So that form is now saved, and I'll show you how to access this later. So here we come onto the general homepage there. So this is the form that I've just created, and I'm going to open up again, and excuse me, and you can see that the form is still here. We can go through the pages. I have the brief descriptions there. You have your e-signature there. We can self-populate some of the information, especially the presenter information, so this can all be self-populated for you. And then on the last page, you have the boxes where you can simply drag and drop or copy and paste the mortgage deed, and this will be for the public register. But another benefit is for those tricky mortgages where you want to add additional notes to the registrar, rather than putting the mortgage and these notes in the post and sending them off and losing control as soon as it leaves your hands. You can simply add any private correspondence to the mortgages here. So once I've filled in this form, you can then, because I'm set up with peer review, I now need to get approval. So you can see the e-submit button here is grayed out, so I can't actually submit it. To submit it, I need to get approval. We've got the file reference there. We can add additional comments. The supervisor's in place, and then you can click send. So now that supervisor will then get an email saying that a mortgage has just been submitted to you for approval. I'll just get the email up here. And the mortgage will come through with something like this. So this individual will just need to click on the link. If they're logged into our system, they'll just get taken through to the page. If not, they'll get asked to log on. They can log on and then open the form. Now I've made myself the supervisor, so I'm seeing what a supervisor would see. So I can then check the form, and I can approve or reject it. So we can approve it, and then we go back to the form, And now I'm kind of in the trainee mode again. So now you can see that the eSubmit Now button has ungraded, and now I can now submit that to Companies House. Now, obviously, I'm in training mode, and I haven't filled in the form. So if I try and submit that now, then the system will obviously scan the form, will check for any information that's missing, and will highlight it. So if there was, in the rare occasion that 2 people have missed out some information, then you can click on the link and it will take you to that section in the form to complete. You'll see on the right hand there that now we've got, we get a pop-up to tell you how many days that you've got to file the mortgage. Down the left hand side here, you can share the form. So if you click share, this is more for maybe if you want to share the mortgage with your client. You can put in your client's email address and the mobile number, and you can either share just for comments or share where they can also edit the form. The email address and mobile number is important because they get 2-phase authentication, and then they can then check the form, edit it if you wish. So that's how you fill in a mortgage form and submit it. So now if we go back to kind of the beginning, so earlier on we saved a form. So now you've had to go away to a meeting, you've come back. How do I access the forms again? We'll simply go to the GlobalX site, click on the eFiling, and rather than clicking any of the mortgages, you simply click eFile homepage. Now there is a price that pops up there, ignore that, there is no cost, we just had to put in a figure there. Click on eFiling homepage, click proceed, and that will take you through to the page that I showed you earlier. So this is the form here that we were working on. So here you see the details of what each part means. So this form here means it's an electronic form, and because this has got the sort of 2 heads with the magnifying glass, then that means that the document has had peer review. You can see it's highlighted green. This means that the mortgage has been approved and is ready to send. If it was red, then it would obviously mean that it was disproved or not approved. And if it was amber, it would mean that you're approaching a late date and you needed to get this sent. There's a full audit trail on all of the forms. You can open a form, move down, click on the audit trail, and you can see exactly who's done what when, who's looked at the form. You can download that if you wish. And also you can search all the forms for your firm. So if you click the search forms part, you can search forms by client reference, by the form name, by the individual that produced it. You can have a list of all your firms there. Key file words, dates, etc., and it will bring up all the forms that you need, which is quite useful. For instance, if there is a supervisor that you've sent a form to for approval and they haven't responded, maybe you might, obviously maybe not at the moment, but they could be on holiday or whatnot, otherwise exposed. You can then get approval and send it to a different supervisor. And then they can approve the form for you. Now, this is set up for peer review. If you just wanted the system set up for individuals to just go on, fill in the forms and submit, then we can set it up in that instance as well for you. So it's just a benefit really. It's if you in the office when you did mortgages, if you had to have it checked and somebody basically, if you're filing with Companies House directly, you literally had to have someone stand over your shoulder to check your work. So this peer review is basically someone checking your work, but obviously not having to stand over your shoulder. And there we are. So obviously we can set you up in trainee mode, as I am, should you wish to get set up, have a play around with the system to see how it works. Sorry, I haven't touched on the after submitting mortgages. So once you have submitted the mortgage, all correspondence will be sent by email from Companies House to you. So once it's been approved by Companies House and processed, you'll get all the PDF certificates and documents sent back to you. The digital correspondence will then be stored next to the file there. So that will be all recorded digitally. And then once you have completed that mortgage and it's all filed, etc., you can then select it and archive it. So that basically tidies up your home page here. It means it doesn't get too cluttered. So you can just select everything and then archive it. So again, you can see everyone's forms. We can change that if you wish. If you just want to see your own forms, we can set you up that way. Or if you want a kind of super user to see all forms, then we can set it up like that. So the system itself is quite flexible in being changed there. So I've sort of flown through that. If anyone has any questions, then because there's quite a lot of people on the call today, please do just send me an email. We can send you this. This has been recorded, so we can send this out to you for reference. We do plan to create a more of a suite of e-filing forms. Obviously, there's hundreds of forms that you can file digitally. So if you are wanting a service where you can file additional forms, and do let me know, and let me know what forms, maybe the top 10 forms that you would like to be able to file digitally, and then we can look at that and then get our developers on the case to get that set up as well for you. So just to summarize, we've showed you the draft forms. We can attach private notices to the registrar, which is very helpful for complicated mortgages. We can share forms with your colleagues or clients, and we can set up with various levels of permissions. So if you wanted that peer review, we can set it up so a group of people can't send directly until they've been authorized by somebody else there. And again, there's no upfront fees. We simply, if you're an existing client, we simply just add it to your account. You will probably be set up with a separate e-filing only site, because you may not want your whole firm to have access to this service, but that's no problem. We can simply set up another site, as you saw that I demonstrated on with just the e-filing. There's no installations at all and no contract. It's simply pay as you go. All the prices are inclusive of Companies House costs. Let me just go back. And you'll be able to see all prices on the forms there. Quite simple. And that's the service, that's e-filing. So yeah, so Companies House are still accepting hard file documents, and we can process them for you. But they are stressing that if you can file documents electronically, then they would rather you do that. So you've got my email address, so please just simply get in touch. If you have any questions, if I've missed something out, then please do get in touch, or if you have any questions. And as I said, we will be doing additional webinars. Any suggestions would be greatly received. And we hope to see you or hear you later on. Take care, all the best.